Style Podcast. Hey, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Sacred Style Podcast, a safe space where we get real and go deep to explore the intersection of modern spirituality, entrepreneurship, identity, and purpose. Hosted by intuitive artist and entrepreneur Daniela West, join us as we explore the transformational journey of becoming more fully you, whole, healed, and human. So, hey there, and welcome to the Sacred Style Podcast. So I'm really excited for today's episode. We are going to be speaking about how we can tap into self-compassion to transform our relationships in the world around us. And I think especially in today's crazy, chaotic world, this is a super important, relevant topic. So to expand more on this, I'll be speaking with Claudia Cardozo, a Gallup certified strengths coach, Chopra meditation instructor, diversity and inclusion specialist, author of Love is the Path, TED Talk speaker, and founder of Innate 5, where she helps individuals and teams grow through corporate coaching and workshops. As a first-generation Colombian immigrant to the U.S., Claudia's journey has been shaped by the challenges of navigating identity, belonging, and self-compassion. These experiences ignited her passion for healing divisions and fostering connection in a fragmented world. Drawing from her personal story, Claudia advocates for compassionate leadership and inclusive cultures that empower people to feel valued and seen. Her work is rooted in the belief that love is a transformative force for creating belonging and bridging divides. So with that powerful intro, I'm so excited to welcome you, Claudia. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. So excited to be with you here in the space. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, it's such an honor. I am so excited to explore your story, explore more about your work and your book. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really powerful, super relevant topic to today's world. So I would love if you could introduce yourself a little bit more to the audience. Let us know what's kind of the journey that led you to where you are now.
Oh, wow. So I think it's important to note that I came to the United States in 2002 from Colombia, and I have very humble beginnings in terms of like how I arrived here in the US. I came with $500. That's all what I had after selling my my scooter in Colombia. So I was able to buy the plane ticket and have $500 and left. And I came here with the dream to pursue a better life for myself and my daughter. And as many immigrants, I had to leave my daughter behind. So many immigrants come to this country and make huge sacrifices.
Wow.
For me, leaving my daughter behind was very difficult. I mean, it had consequences in our lives for many years. But I'm happy to say after a lot of therapy, my daughter and I are much better. Yeah. So I work in many different industries, as you noted. I started working in a restaurant, rolling burritos and frying tacos. That's how I started, and then I moved to insurance. I worked in the insurance industry for a couple of years, and then it was in 2014 that I came across with a program called Leadership Rhode Island. And they were training people to become coaches to do strengths-based development. And that's how I got interested in the field of coaching.
It's a great theme for this episode, in terms of self-compassion, in terms of this journey of getting to know ourselves, right? This journey of learning to be more comfortable in our own skin, grow in confidence, grow in self-awareness. I think it would be really interesting to explore a little bit more about coaching, because that's actually how we met each other, if you remember.
Yeah. Was it in Social Enterprise Greenhouse?
Yeah. I think it was. I remember meeting you back in Providence, Rhode Island. Can't remember what year, maybe 2015, 20, maybe 2016,
Yeah,
2017.
sounds right. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, we met when I was starting my entrepreneurial journey, when I was just starting to get into coaching. And I actually remember meeting you and thinking like you were so inspiring. You're such a wonderful role model for the type of coach that I wanted to evolve into.
Oh,
And
that's kind. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, and I think we just connected right from the start in the coaching world, in the personal development space. And yeah, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about what is it about coaching that attracted you to? I mean, you said you were working with burritos when you first came over to this country. I didn't know that about you, which is incredible. It's like you've really done so many different
Mhm.
types of jobs in this life. So I guess how did what attracted you to coaching after all those experiences?
Yeah, so it was, I think I have always been interested in serving,
Mm,
serving others. And I knew that if I gain tools and resources to better, support the growth of others, that was something that was going to be fulfilling to me. So when Leadership Rhode Island was recruiting coaches to become strengths, ambassadors, I was lucky enough to get recruited, and it learning about strengths based development not only helped me in my own journey to have impact on others and to better understand myself, but it brought me closer to my daughter, and
mm,
that was very transformational in the relationship that I have with my daughter. Because before I used to want her to just be like me, like have some of the same values, and when she completed the Clifton Strengths profile, I understood that she was her own world. I became
mm.
more curious about the things that motivated her. And so, so coaching has brought me so much fulfillment, not
Mm.
only, in the work that I do with others, but personally, like it's very personal for me, coaching.
Wow. Wow, that's so beautiful about your daughter. That's so special that, you were able to enter this world of personal development and it brought a transformation not only in the relationship with yourself, but with your daughter and maybe I would guess other people as well, which is so beautiful. It's like that's one of the things I love about coaching, personal development, even astrology, human design, which are the two lenses I've been attracted to in the last few years because it's like, what is the power of differentiation? How can we use certain tools, certain lenses to first help us understand ourselves better? Who are we? What are our unique values? What are our unique strengths in this world? And how does that make every single person different from the rest? Um,
Mm.
I love that. And to be honest with you, that's a struggle that I had growing up in my family as well, like with my parents or, the elders in the family. It was this constant battle between who they expected me to be, kind of based on
Mm.
their beliefs and values and how they had lived their lives. And then being able to discover how am I uniquely designed to show up in this world? What do I actually care about, regardless of my family or society or what I grew up in? Is that something that occurred between you and other people as you went on this journey?
Of course, yes.
Mm,
And I think we humans have the tendency to kind of want to be sometimes like other people, like admire the qualities that other people have, or compare ourselves and be a little bit hard on ourselves.
Mhm.
And also we want, it's not so obvious, but when we have friction with others, sometimes it's because we want them to be like us. Right?
Wow.
So we want them to be as organized as we are. We want them to be as analytical as we are. And it's like we have friction with other people because we want them to be like us. So through coaching, through inner work, we start accepting more of who we are. We start recognizing those innate talents, those gifts, those unique perspectives that our lived experiences have give us. And in that journey of accepting who we are, then we let other people to be who they are. We become more curious. And at the same time, when we come across to people that doesn't accept us or like is criticizing us or whatever it is, we can, when we have done the inner work, so we can realize that it's their own projection, that it's just their own lack of awareness, their inability to accept parts of themselves, and then they reject what they don't understand, or they want to impose their values onto us.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that is such an incredible point. That's such an incredible point. I think I relate so much to that in terms of my own development journey too. Like I've kind of been discovering the more I've been growing in my own confidence and my own self-awareness, it's actually allowing me to have more compassion. I mean, yes, compassion towards myself, but it's helping me have so much compassion towards people I encounter in my life, especially when I do experience criticism, for example. When I
Mm.
do experience someone, giving me advice or maybe giving me a compliment that's not really a compliment, and it's kind of making me feel confused and starting to doubt myself, like what did they actually mean by that? But when I start to recognize those reactions in me, I can stop and have more self-awareness that, oh, okay, maybe this is a person who doesn't fully know themselves just yet. Maybe this is a person who is carrying a lot of insecurities or a lot of shame. Maybe
Yeah.
this is someone who maybe they haven't quite done the inner work yet to understand themselves, and they are projecting that. Um, yeah, they're projecting those emotions onto others, and
Yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah.
in that it's kind of like I can detach a bit from other people and what what they may think of me, and I can stand taller, I can stand more grounded in who I am and how I want to navigate the world and allow other people to have their own reactions.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And like when we're like doing the self-compassion, it's like the muscle that we're developing, right? It's like then that's what we have. And
Mm.
then other people show up their humanity and we can be compassionate towards that because we have it.
Hmm.
But those that don't cultivate that compassion for themselves, like it's more difficult to cultivate it for others. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I honestly think that's one of the biggest lessons I've been learning over the last few years. It's
Mm.
like I can't give other people confidence. I can't fix other people's insecurities. I can't do the work for them. The best thing I can do is continue to pour into myself, continue along my journey, learning to be the best, um,
Mm.
the most empowered version of me. And in doing that, I know that it does inspire people in the long run, even if they do get triggered along the way. Is that something you've been experiencing too?
Um, give me a little more about that. Like,
It's kind of like I've been noticing the last few years on my spiritual awakening and my personal development journey that, for example, I'm 37 years old now, and I feel exponentially more confident and comfortable in my skin. And I ever have throughout my life. So much
Mm.
more in my 20s and when I was a teenager. And I've noticed certain people, I've noticed a very polarizing effect, if this makes sense. Either
Okay.
some people who've known me throughout my life are very repelled by me, like there's been a
Mm.
lot more distance, or they're very drawn to me and they want to, connect and kind of learn and express inspiration and express curiosity for their own growth. Um, yeah, so I'm wondering if you've ever experienced sort of this polarizing effect in your own journey.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I am. I have. Yeah. Yeah. I
Mm.
think that in the last couple of years, I've been on a journey to healing, but more intentionally in the last couple of years. And I've been realizing that I want to be in a state of love and compassion and
Mhm.
peace. I mean, the peace is one of the most important things for me right now. Like, I'm
Mm.
very cautious of who I surround myself with because my inner peace is like so important at this point in my life. And yeah, I noticed people that gets it, that is more open to some of the things that I'm doing, and I notice people that doubt it, or
Mhm.
like, um, yeah. So in that sense, I think I have noticed,
Mhm.
the people that gravitate towards me and the people that maybe not as much.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think going back to the self-compassion too, I think it's important to notice those things, like who's drawn to you, maybe who's expressing doubt or not, just not really resonating with where you're at, and just realizing both are okay, you know, both reactions are okay. And
Yeah.
I- and in the past, I mean, if I would experience criticism or maybe not receiving the support that I hoped for from certain people in my life, I really used to let that stop me from a lot of my goals or a
Mm.
lot of my passions. And now I've come to a space where I can recognize maybe if someone's not resonating or understanding or supporting, and I can also accept it. I can observe it, I can
Mhm.
accept it, and I can realize, okay, that's just where they're at. And I can choose to keep moving forward regardless of who's coming with me, you know?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I think yeah, it is normal, but I totally relate with what you're saying because I used to be in a room full of people, like, I don't know, so many people, they were, expressing their likeness and willingness to work with me or support me, but there was one person that was not, and all of my attention will go to that person, and instead of, like, everybody else that is in the room that really want to support me. So yeah, so that I can relate to that.
Yeah.
But now I just see it as normal, right? We It's about vibration and energy, and like
Mm.
light attracts light, and we're all at different stages of different levels of awareness and different, states. And yeah, I
Yeah.
see it as normal now. Before I didn't. Yeah, but now
Mhm.
I'm more at peace with that. So I'm
Yeah,
not
really.
going to spaces hoping that everybody likes me. No.
Yeah. And I think that's a really powerful place to reach in yourself, of being able to go into spaces and just be. That's what it sounds like. You're going in and you're just being. You're just
Yeah.
being you. And there's just so much peace. There's so much acceptance that radiates from you. And it's really, really beautiful to just interact with your energy. I find it so soothing and just beautiful, Claudia. Thank you.
Thank, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I accept that. Thank you.
Oh, I'd love to hear I'd love to hear a little more about your journey too in terms of your book, Love is the Path. As I think this probably goes along with a lot of these themes we've been exploring in terms of the journey. So tell us a bit about this book, kind of how did it start? What inspired you to write this? I'd love to hear more.
Thank you. It's sometimes it's hard for me to just talk about the journey that led me to the book
Okay.
because I feel that um, coming to this country. So coming to this country, like I guess my priorities were to build a better life for me and my daughter, to have a better future that I could not be able to have in Colombia. Like that was clear to me, right? So I came here in 2002 with that purpose of like really, really building a better life. And many, many years, all my attention and my efforts in a way were focused on my daughter. So she was a purpose for me. And I also threw myself in career. So career was very, very important for me for many, many, many years. But in 2022, it's just been a couple of years ago, I I found myself completely disengaged at work for the first time in my life. Empty nester because my daughter had already graduated from college and went to pursue her own career. I had broken up with the fiance that I had at that time. And um, I got sick. So basically, my world collapsed. And it was a life crisis and a moment for me to reevaluate everything, right? So, how I was living my life. So, I decided to leave my corporate job and to do some travel.
Mm.
And I realized that all of those years working here in the United States, like going from one job to another, like there were so many things. Well, first of all, I was always trying to fit in, right?
Mm.
So I learned how to just fit in spaces, just say what people wanted to hear, like, and in that desire to fit in so much, I lost myself. Like I didn't know that, but I lost myself. So so when I went to this journey, so I went to Barcelona, I went to Menorca, and I did a trip to Dominican Republic. So those trips, in different ways, helped me to go deeper within myself,
Mhm.
to learn more about who I was, to learn more about who I wanted to be, to learn about what values I wanted to embody and protect going forward. And that awakening, in a way, inspired me to write the book. So I wanted to document somehow my journey because I felt that I'm not the only one.
Mhm.
I cannot be the only one who come to this country with so many good intentions and get lost in the way.
Mhm.
So that was my
Mm.
my motivation to write a book.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh gosh, I can relate so much to this journey you shared in terms of well, the idea of belonging, right? The idea of belonging and fitting in, and what are the ways in which we bend ourselves, we change ourselves to feel accepted into certain spaces. I've definitely experienced that myself, living in other countries and experiencing other cultures, which is so beautiful. But yeah, there does come a point where it's that line between fitting in and self-abandonment that you were explaining. And it can be such a beautiful turning point, a beautiful catalyst where you do start to feel like everything's collapsing, nothing's going right. I feel awful
Mhm.
all the time, right? And I have gone through this phase myself, so I really understand. And it sounds like it totally set you off on this path of self-discovery and even self-empowerment, to really get to know who you are, maybe for the first
Yeah.
time ever.
Yeah, I could say that I also relate to what you said. Like, I'm 48 years old and I feel like I'm 30 or maybe, yeah, I feel like a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
But better in terms of energy, way better.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, so I think we humans need like pain and struggle to evolve for some reason. When we are, I mean, not all of us, but most of us. I know Michael Singer from the Surrender Experiment and the Untethered Soul. He did not need to suffer. He just had an aha moment. But yeah, but those are random. Most of us need, most of us need deep pain and suffering to just kind of wake up and realize, oh,
Mhm.
I want to live my life differently.
Mhm.
So yeah, so for me, my midlife crisis was a gift.
Mhm.
Was a cute, huge, huge gift because I wouldn't be in the journey that I am right now
Mhm.
without that awakening. And like you met me before, you
Mhm.
met me a few years before, and I think you would describe me as like a nice person,
Mhm.
um, but you wouldn't have known my inner struggles,
Right.
my self-criticism, my judgment towards myself constantly, my high standards. So I
Mhm.
always been so perfectionist,
Yeah.
so where I always let myself down, and it
Mhm.
still happened here and there, but the difference is that before I couldn't get out of it. Like I will be in these loops for, I don't know, hours, days. Now it's like, oh, I recognize it and it's okay. I can move on.
Yeah.
So, but the tendency is still there, but it's not running my life,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so I am grateful.
Mhm.
I'm grateful for my midlife crisis because it's helping me to realize that I can relate to my life differently.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What was coming up for me when you're talking about your midlife crisis was this phrase that I love. I don't know who originally said it. If anyone knows, please drop it in the comments because I'm so curious. But it's this phrase, rejection is protection. And I've gone through
Hmm.
this dark night of the soul phase as well. And it may happen multiple times throughout someone's life where when you feel that life or everything you knew to be true about your life starts to reject you, it starts to feel off,
Hmm.
starts to feel misaligned, that is actually redirection deep down. Maybe you can't see it when you're going through it because it's dark and it's painful.
Hmm.
It's suffering when nothing feels right anymore. But it really is the beginning of that transformative journey that's going to redirect you into who you truly are, what you value.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's so powerful that you've shared that.
Thank you. I have a question to you. I'm just a little curious. A question about myself.
Okay.
So it's very
Let's do
So,
it.
do you see like any difference between the person that you met, like, I don't know, when we were at SCG to who I
Mhm.
am now? Like, I'm just wondering if there is something like, if you
Yeah.
can pinpoint like one thing that you say, you know what, I see a shift, or I see a change between who
I,
you were and who you are.
I would say I don't see it as much as I feel it. I think your external personality is still the same. You are always kind
Ah,
and loving and very warm. And I always felt immediately, safe to interact with you and all of that good stuff. But energetically, you're just transmitting so much peace now, so much peace,
ah.
so much calm. So, like,
Okay.
such a sense of groundedness in who you are, and there's no urgency, there's no rush. That's what I feel from you now, and I think that is a shift from when we first met. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. That resonates so well for
yeah,
me. Um, Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And yes, I think that is the difference. Exactly. And I've been thinking about, I have like a little mantra, like, you can make it safe anytime you want. You can make it safe. Right.
mhm,
And I think that was that I didn't have access to that before. That's what it was. I didn't know how to make it safe for myself.
wow.
And I feel a little nostalgic now thinking about it.
Uh,
I just got emotion about it.
oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Because but it's not only emotion for me.
Hmm.
It's because how many people in the world don't know how to make it safe for themselves?
Yeah.
Why are we not taught these things?
Mm, yeah. Now I'm getting emotional. Yeah, but yeah, Claudia, I understand so deeply, and I think I mean I relate to so much in terms of like when I was younger, I was driven by perfectionism. I was driven by high achievement, always going and getting all these degrees and certificates and whatever, all the status and all the things that I was taught from my upbringing or what would make me a worthy and acceptable human being. And I have also come to this same question of why am I why am I valuing these things? Are these things I truly value? Who would I be without work? Who would I be without my education or any of the external things I've achieved? What if I didn't have any of those? What if I had nothing in my life and it was just me as a human being? Who would I still be? And these questions have kind of led me to realize that one of the main reasons I was valuing all these things and chasing all these things was because I didn't feel safe in myself to just exist. And it really was this question of how do I create an internal sense of safety to the point where
Mm,
I allow myself to literally just exist in this physical world? Like, I'm going to spend a day and not do any work. I'm just going to sit in the sunshine. I'm going to
mhm.
drink my tea, and that's going to be my entire day. And that is okay, like, because it's safe to just be a human being and exist
Yeah.
without achievements, without anything. Is that kind of something you've experienced so many?
Oh, totally. Oh my gosh, totally. I used to feel so guilty when, like, time passed by and I didn't do what I was supposed to do, like in my mind. I mean, like, not if I was responsible with something, but like just my inability to relax.
Yeah.
I struggle with that. And like, and this is actually to bring it back to the conversation that we have earlier. My ex fiance, he loved to paint and he loved to smell the roses, and and I push him to just do things like we start doing a construction project, we started a business together, and I was like, do. And that was part of the reason why, you know, the engagement, we had to break up the engagement because I made ourselves so busy that there was no more time for us. We were just so busy with everything else. And yeah, I work at a pace that he was not used to. So I this is terrible to say, but I used to think that he was lazy, because he wasn't work as much. So I used to criticize something of him, and later on, I understood that it was not so much that he was lazy; it was my inability to relax. So you know what I mean. So we tend to judge those things that we don't fully understand. So yeah, so it's interesting how like the things that I used to judge now are the things that I want to embody and that I'm working on.
Yes, I was going to say maybe sometimes the things we judge in others are actually the things we're meant to cultivate in ourselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in resisting cultivating that in ourselves, we're judging and we're criticizing it as something bad when it's actually the very thing we're meant to learn that could really enhance our lives.
Oh, absolutely. And there is another aspect to it, and it's that we most of the time we are on autopilot, right? We have these patterns of thought, feeling, and behaving that get us to do things automatically. That's why it's so difficult to acquire a new habit, because we just habitual beings. We know what we should be doing, but we end up doing what we always do. Right? So having a new habit takes time. So what happened is that we get in these loops. So, we're used to the relaxation. Maybe we relax a little bit too much. We used to the work. We're used to working hard, so we overwork ourselves. So that's the beauty of relationships. That in relationships we can bring light to the shadow of the other, and in a healthy relationship, it's about balance. It's not about judgment. It's about, curiosity and support, but also balance. So I think that's one of the biggest gifts of a relationship, that brings balance.
I love that.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, Claudia. That's such good food for thought. Oh my gosh. I could truly talk to you for hours and hours and hours. And I do think we're going to be doing a part 2, definitely, because yes, we will definitely have to do a part 2. I would love to leave our audience with some final words of wisdom from you. So if there's anybody listening right now who is relating to a lot of what we've been talking about, maybe someone's been feeling very self-critical, they've been struggling to relax and let themselves just exist, as a human. What kind of advice would you like to leave them with?
So I would say that we need to give ourselves a lot of self-compassion, because whatever we are now in our lives is the result, the product of our lived experience, our environment, the people that were around us, right? So everything has shaped us. And our thinking, our way of thinking and our beliefs shapes our reality. right? So years of conditioning, of thinking certain way, of having certain beliefs are not going to go away right away because you hear someone said something, or because you're saying like, okay, I'm going to do this. No, it takes time to cultivate a new mindset, to cultivate a new way of being, habits. So I think the most important is self-compassion. Really understand, like accept, like have a good look of where we are, think about where we want to be, and look at that gap, right? Between who we are today, who we want to be, and then start thinking about the steps that we need to take. Find an accountability partner, find a coach. That's where coaches are so, we can't coach ourselves. Daniela, you're a coach, but you need a coach. I need a coach, right? So we need someone that can like give us, the perspective and ask the questions. So I think anyone that is in the journey of transformation should have a coach, right? Someone that can guide them. So we can have a vision of who we want to be, where we want to go, while accepting and loving who we are today. Because if I'm waiting to be someone else, to love myself, to accept myself, it doesn't work. Just put it that way. So it's the loving and accepting who we are today, having a good look of the good and the things that we need to improve, but accepting it and loving it so we can we can start stepping into the version of ourselves that we want to become.
Such good advice. Learning to accept where we're at, but also holding the vision of who we want to become.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So good, Claudia. Thank you so much for wisdom. Oh my goodness. I feel so inspired, and I'm like, ooh.
Love it.
Yes. And lastly, super important, how can people get in touch with you? Do you have any specific things that you're promoting?
I am promoting a book. Thank you for the question. Please go to loveisthepath.org and you can find all my information there.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Claudia. Muchísimas gracias por todo. It has been
un placer.
Un placer. Oh my gosh. And thank you, everybody who's been watching and listening to this episode. And I will catch you next time on the Sacred Style Podcast. Bye. Subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot to help grow the channel and impact more beautiful souls like you. And remember, keep flowing and growing, my friend. I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.